Right, welcome back. Last time, we didn't exactly do that much in particular. I did some messing about with the economics of the country, though I did not show that on camera. And I also went ahead and, well, went up in Miltech because I got tired of cycling through generals constantly. And, well, there are really only two uses for Miltech by this point. Generals, well, actually three. Generals, um, the siege view stuff, well, forcing a breach, there we go. And also, finally, technology. So, I don't plan on grabbing any more military idea groups, so yeah.
Nicht wahr? Weiß ich nicht, echt, ich hinten noch so einen Toast und isst den Apfel
Mhm.
und schlüpfen das noch.
Naive puppet master, really. Prefer to use Condor. Okay, let's see how this plague is doing. Oh. Yeesh, 6% of the population. And it's already spreading to the adjacent provinces too. At least in these provinces it seems like the rate is extremely slow, so it might even stop. But it's gonna tear along my southern coastline, isn't it? Specifically the areas with high levels of dev. At least the immunity is rapidly increasing, which does indicate that it's going to be mainly limited to certain areas. Oh, and I probably should go ahead and insult Ming. Because I would like to have my power projection high enough to maintain that +1 to power gain. Since it is actually convenient to have. Right. Let's get these two new techs. Right. I don't need to do mill tech because I've already increased that multiple times. I think for non-mill admin points, I might just grab tech as I hit the limit. Or the ahead of time penalty disappears. Either case is probably good. Anyway, city surgeons. Okay, that's short enough for me to just read. In 1829, the French Sergents de Ville were founded, becoming the first uniformed police force in the world. Okay, better stability. Slightly better stability. Steamships. Just as they had on land, steam engines began to revolutionize travel on sea as well. The first steamships used steam engines to turn paddles that propelled the ship. This was slow and relied on nearby sources of coal, but it helped propel ships when there was no wind for the sails to catch. I think this was mainly used for river or coastal transport at first, because again, there had to be nearby coal. Later on, as efficiencies improved, and it became easier to bring along fuel in bulk, because it's just like well, okay, let me put it this way. It has to carry its own fuel in order to properly move forward. This is not easy, however, and it takes a lot of energy to do so. In other words, it's an early form of literal rocket science, in which the equation is how much thrust can you you can provide a certain amount of thrust with a certain amount of fuel. However, that thrust is a constant force based upon fuel consumption, but yeah, it's a constant amount of force. However, the acceleration varies because as you burn up fuel, your weight decreases. So, the basic concepts of rocket science aren't exactly that new. They're older than rockets are. It simply comes from the idea of fueled ships. which, while not 100 years older, are certainly at least half a century older than the first chemical rockets. Because I believe those were actually, weren't they pre-1900? The earliest chemical rockets? Rocketry is not that new. It only became, well, for a certain definition of practical, relatively recently in history. Keep an eye on that revolt. Ignari. Which province is that? Ah, it's Puerto Rico. Okay. Now wait for the month to end. It's got fortifications. Well, a garrison. So it's not going to just fall immediately. I could afford to wait a month even if the revolt happens that very same month. There's no rush. No rush. In fact, it would be convenient if it happened that same month. Because then I don't need to worry about it anymore. I don't know, April would also be pretty convenient, wouldn't it? But yeah, this trip shouldn't take longer than a month anyway. Nope, not happening this month. Okay. Oh, and I got another merchant. Okay. Where to? Where to? Let's pick a random trade node with a lot of money locked up in it. And very little trade power. Well, a lot of money, potential, and little trade power. Oh, Gorson looks great. Also, a landlocked one would be a good idea simply because, well, values. I can get that sweet caravan power. Or perhaps not. Oh well. It's still a little something. And Coruscant has very little trade power. In total, I mean, really. If 29 is enough to get 54... yeah. And there's a lot of value in there, too. So Coruscant is actually a good random trade node to grab just for the trade value. Right. So, okay. Alright, this session really wasn't... Wait, why does Connacht have troops here? When did you send troops here? Okay. So yeah, there's a smallpox plague that's ripping through the realm. It has dealt quite a bit of damage, ranging from 8 to 10%, 8 to 15% on several provinces. Specifically, just about everything south of this line. Which is rather bad. It hasn't reached the canal yet. And it looks like it might not actually do so, because it seems it had particularly bad luck with Hutaras. Because there was enough time for the news to spread to get them to... Yeah, okay, and... It has hit Urim, but apparently didn't do much. Okay, so the plague seems to be pretty much finished. Okay, so let's see how bad this went. Okay, not quite 6 million. Yeesh, 6 million dead. Alright. Went up attack. Got a new infantry type. Plus frigates are now steam frigates. Though I'm might not even upgrade them. It might be just a bit too much effort for this. Yeah, this is ripping through my economy though, which is really bad. Especially since I can't really afford too much chaos. And this means that, and all this means that, among other things, prices and wages increase. And wages are especially bad to have increase. Just when it comes to profitability, so... Yeah, my expenses are doing pretty poorly. However, those that survived are probably doing pretty well for themselves. Yeesh, look at that. Industry. Minus 580 ducats. At the start of last year. And that's in Kapur. What about over here? Oh, so the capital's no longer the largest city in the continent. Even the region from the looks of it. That honor has gone to here. Which I guess wasn't hit as hard. Kakshiku. Huh. Well, congratulations to them, I guess. Population of over 1.7 million city dwellers. The things aren't going as good for them as it could be. Those salt mines are making a heck of a lot of money. Oh, there are also rare metal mines here too. How's that doing? Not great, okay. Precious metal mines. I don't... display product 2S13 supply 9B. Okay, whatever that is, it's not doing great, so... I have been keeping something of an eye on what's going on. Enough Grove temporarily appeared, and then Livonian ordered took it. Although they've also lost territory, even more territory, to Lithuania, who's been eating up Latvia. Seems like Poland's here to stay in these areas. Oh yeah, there was also an epidemic over here. But it seems like it didn't do much of anything. I wasn't really paying attention, so I might not even have reached Ulster, so... Oh well, this part of Ulster. Which I'm fine with. My merchant count hasn't changed, which is good. Among other things, I've sent someone to Coruscant over here. It's earning 0.2 ducats, which is great for a trade note that I have no other interaction with. I may end up grabbing some extra Diplotech soon, though. No reason not to. Upgrades to the Clipper. I remember that from Victoria too. Anyway. Right, that should be good for now. State corruption is going down dramatically. Provincial corruption, not quite as quickly, but it's still going down, which is great. Especially good since it's a much lower value anyway. And I don't even have any anti-corruption measures active. In fact, it's been long enough so that it's expired. I think I will continue promoting the aristocratic faction, though. That's going to have some effects on power balance. At least it means my legitimacy will go up faster. For multiple reasons. Anyway. Quick look at the great power rankings, yeah. We're approaching the end game. It's supposed to end at 56, so there's less than 35 years left. about a third of a century remaining. So, the game is slowly drawing it to a close. It won't be long. Anyway, I'll see you again next time. Until then, bye.